What up, guys? We're here with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Gonna do a little Talkin Tulsa. We'll get going.
By the way, I've watched these a lot, and I was wondering, you know, I mean, I know I had to come back here to actually get on one, but yeah, I watched all your shootout ones, and I was like, man, it'd be cool. And then I got a text today, and it's like, bam, let's do it.
I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah.
I definitely, big time superstar. I know your life didn't really start out that way.
No.
Take me back to, what was it, West Memphis, the ditch, your early days as Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Sunshine and I were just talking about the ditch, and he couldn't believe that we used to park in the infield, and it had walls on the inside, so like the track was super narrow. But my mom took me to the racetrack. I was 6 weeks old, you know, similar to you, your dad racing, and that's all I ever did. I went there in Memphis Motorsports Park, where the two racetracks ran Friday, Saturday nights, and so yeah, it was a great childhood growing up at the dirt track, staying out late and watching my dad race, and he was really good there, and so it was a lot of fun. And then yeah, growing up racing there was fun. There was a lot of just really solid, I would say, old school racers that my dad raced with, that I feel like I got to learn from, and I think that was
how old were you when you were racing against those guys?
So I was 15, which I feel like now is old to start sprint car racing. Like I felt like I was pretty young then. But yeah, it was really cool. I started racing flat carts. Came here in 1999 and won a shootout race when they only had one micro class. And so I thought that was really cool, and it's still got a special spot in the trophy case. It'd be nice to add a chili bowl in, but yeah, just growing up in the Memphis area, a lot of good racers, a lot of good tracks you could run Friday, Saturday night, and so I felt like I got a lot of experience early versus like, you know, going and run one race here or there. So cool area to grow up in, and I had a great teacher with my dad, that's for sure.
Fast forward a little bit, at what point in your career do you think you kind of got your big break to get you kind of, I think, the USAC scene first, right?
It's kind of tricky. So like when I think back to my career, I only raced sprint cars for
short time,
4 years before I ended up stock car racing. It was kind of right place at the right time. I would say 2006 was our kind of breakout year, running Ohio Sprint Week, running 410s up through Ohio. We won, I think, 3 of the 5 Sprint Week races that year, battling Del Blaney, Byron Reed at like Fremont and Attica, and those were some really cool times. But I felt like that kind of got some people talking about us, and then I signed with Motorsports Management, and that was at Chili Bowl in 2007, I think, is finally when we signed with them. And then that I had ran some Silver Crown races for RE Technologies there out of Memphis. And then 2007, we were going to run the full Silver Crown schedule. Dad said, I'm not sure how much sprint car racing we were going to do. And so we were going out to Manzanita with the Silver Crown car. They had room for my sprint car in the trailer, and I asked my dad if we could take it, and he's like, yeah, if you could find somebody to, help you pay for it, go for it. He goes, you can use the car and the engine. So I got a guy to buy me some tires, got somebody to buy me some fuel, and we went out there. I had 4 rear tires. JT Imperial gave me 2 used ones that I hot lapped on, and we won the sprint car and the Silver Crown race at Manzanita. That was the copper on dirt when they used to do that, and so that was huge for us. And then Tracy Hines got hurt, and I was signed with MMI, so they called and said, hey, come fill in at TSR, and just kind of took off from there. Obviously having Tony in your corner, kind of pushing you along was very beneficial.
Yeah, kind of right place, right time. And I remember, I was a young kid when you were kind of just getting to TSR, and I remember watching and thinking, man, he's badass. And my mom, I don't know why this sticks out, but she's like, he is going to bust his ass one day and get hurt. Well, it seemed like you never really managed to. You were always so good at finding the limit in the Silver Crown car, the sprint car. And you think that part of, what's been your success is you your limit so well?
I do feel like the USAC cars helped that a lot. I felt like the wing cars, I was just super comfortable, and I would say like my sophomore year in sprint cars, I made a lot of mistakes, and then like 06 was really good. 2007, Tony says I tore up a lot. I don't remember tearing up that much.
That's how it works.
Yeah, so the car owners always think that. I'm a car owner now, and so I think that about Sheldon. So, no, you know, I think, you know, we won a lot of good races, won a ton of midget races, sprint car races, and I mean, these non-wing cars, you got to be right on the edge to be fast, and no different than here. I was walking around looking at the track, and you got to curb, you got to get the right amount of wheel spin, the right angle, and find that limit. And I feel like that helped me in the Nationwide Series a lot, because man, when I got in those cars, you know, we had really good cars, and you could run them on the edge, run them loose, run them close to the wall, and I felt like that's why we had really good success. And then obviously on the Cup side, it's been a little bit different, you know, kind of up and down, but you know, we're still out there, and we're still trying to win races.
You mentioned the Cup side of things. We'll touch on that. Daytona 500 champion this year. How surreal is that? I mean, I know, you know, we're back in the dirt world, and guys here probably don't think that much. It's a big deal, but this is our Daytona 500. But how was it winning the actual Daytona 500?
So it was wild. So I think it was my 12th or 13th Daytona 500, and you know, Trevor Bain was, you know, a buddy of mine, and in our camp at Roush when he won the 500, and I saw kind of the transformation and kind of where it took him in his career, and you know, I knew how big it was, but I didn't really expect everything that was going to come with it. I mean, I've had so many people here in the less than, you know, 12 hours I've been here, you know, come and congratulate me on the 500. And man, that was one of the coolest things. And the coolest thing from the 500, other than the trophy, the money, and just all the stuff that goes with it, was after the race, I went to Tony's bus, and I had the ring on, and he goes, "Let me look at it." And he took it off, and he's like, "Man, I would trade one of my championships for this." You know, because like, and now he's got, you know, what, 4 championships or so. Like, I mean, I guess he could trade one, but yeah, I mean, that's how much that race means to all of us that race in our sport.
Let's flip over to ownership side of things with Sheldon Stenhouse Marshall. What has that been like? What propelled you to be an owner in sprint car racing and give back to the sport so much that you have? Well,
since we're in here, I mean, it's kind of perfect opportunity. You know, Brian Clausen, we were roommates when I moved to North Carolina, and then obviously his stock car career with Ganassi switching manufacturers just really took him out of it. I mean, he was just you know, I was at the right place at the right time. He was just kind of at the wrong place. And so he had talked about wanting to go race World of Outlaws, and he was, you know, doing stuff with Matt Wood, and you know, we got to talking, and obviously he owned a Ford dealership, and I was with Ford, and it's like, hey, let's put Brian in. And so we were building the team for Brian to run, and then obviously after his accident there at Belleville, we contemplated what to do, and we decided to, hey, let's go for it. And it was a lot. It was, you know, a big undertaking, and it just didn't have that same feel knowing that we were going to do it for Brian. You know, Joey was great to work with. Things didn't work out. We ended up getting Jack Honschild to run for us, and at that same time is when I got NOS to come over, and I think Jack's probably the oldest person they've ever sponsored. But yeah, they came over for about 3/4 of the season that Jack ran, and then obviously, you know, we continued to, you know, put NOS Energy Drink on Sheldon's car, and Sheldon's the perfect match for what we do. And I love Sheldon. I love the way he races and the way he presents himself and carries himself, and the love he has for the sport. So he does us a great job. But yeah, and then now, you know, Lauren and everything that NOS Energy Drink has done in this sport has been so cool, and to know that, you know, we brought them back in the sport back in, you know, 2017. Yeah, we were just talking about it. Her first dirt race was here at Chili Bowl, and she had no clue what was going on. Now she knows everybody, and it's just cool to see these big brands coming into dirt track racing and continuing to grow, being able to, you know, stream it, you know, just about any given race. It's cool. So ownership's fun. I get to watch it every weekend. I stay up way too late, probably on race nights watching. Madison, my wife, was like, hey, sometimes you could get some sleep. But yeah, if there's a race on, I'm watching them.
Cool. A couple more things. The direction of sprint car racing right now is incredible, between the Outlaws, High Limit, and just everything being boosted all together. I know that's been a big push out of you guys as owners, drivers. How envious, jealous are you of these guys right now and the money that they get to race for, the schedules we have? Like, do you wish that was an opportunity when you were younger, or do you think your career path that you took was just the right one for you?
I don't know, because like when I was racing sprint cars, I guess I was a little spoiled because I really wasn't on my own.
Yep.
I wasn't paying bills. I was young. Really anything that I won went to my dad or whoever I was racing for. So, but I look where it's going and what everybody's doing. The Outlaws are stepping up and giving us way more money than we had. High Limit's coming in, giving, there's 2 series that people just can go run and make money.
Yeah.
And, I think it's great for the sport. You hit every little part of the country, all different racetracks. So I think it's in a great spot, and I think everybody just has to keep working together to make sure everything keeps rising. I think if you can rise all ships together, it's going to be beneficial for everybody. And so I'm looking forward to the next few years. I think it's only going to keep going up.
Yeah. Last little bit here. How did this last minute ride come about with Keith Kunz Motorsports? Because I heard rumors of you talking to other teams, trying to work out other stuff, and all of a sudden, bam, here comes Ricky Stenhouse with Keith Kunz.
Yeah, so Justin Grant, we talked in like November, and he said, hey, my guys are going to let me build 2 Chili Bowl cars. Do you want to drive one? And I was like, nah, I think I'm going to take 1 more year off, relax at home, and we'll do it next year. Yep. And then I think I'd have to look. I think around Christmas Eve-ish, he's texting me a picture. Man, I got 2 of them ready. Are you sure you don't want to come? I'm like, I think I'm gonna take it off. And then I was gonna sit at home and watch this weekend. My wife was gonna go to Florida, see her dad, and actually with my sister. And she calls me Monday. I'm at the Cup shop, and she said, hey, I canceled our flights. Weather's not looking good. I can tell you really want to be at Chili Bowl, so maybe call Justin, see if he's got that ride still available. So I called Justin, and couldn't get it worked out. I think they were actually in the process of loaning a car to Jerry at the time, so a lot of moving parts there. And I texted Kyle. I was like, dang, I was trying to work out my deal with Justin, and then I didn't even know Kyle was trying to run. And he said, hey, Cannon ran 2 cars on Monday. Just call Keith. Yeah. So I was like, kind of him-hawed around a little bit, and yeah, here we are. I texted Keith, and I was like, hey, here's the deal, and he's like, let me call Pete, and 20 minutes, he's like, yeah, I think we're good. So I was like, perfect. Bought a flight yesterday and flew here this morning.
Awesome. That's super cool. Well, can't wait to watch your race tomorrow.
Yes.
Good luck to you.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out.